The Common Admission Test CAT is the gateway to some of the best business schools in India. It's the largest, most important, most written, and therefore the most competitive MBA entrance exam. And probably that is the biggest reason why that exam can mess up with you. Now, I am creating this video just 1 or 2 weeks ahead of CAT. However, irrespective of when you watch this, what you need to know is that you, as an MBA aspirant who's focusing on CAT, entirely focusing on CAT, will definitely go through a phase where you'll probably even experience a mental breakdown because of your preparation. In this video, my objective is to remind you that probably the Common Admission Test CAT gets undue importance, undue attention of yours, which can truly break your career entirely. I will be explaining that why am I saying so and what can you do about it. Hi, I'm Darpan Saxena, an MBA graduate from Udaipur, and let's get on with the video. There is something about CAT and there has to be. Almost every B school, 99% of the B schools in India accept CAT scores, and therefore when students think MBA, they think CAT. At the same time, when the coaching institutes have to sell their MBA programs, they sell it with the name of CAT. Therefore, CAT is that buzzword, that keyword which every MBA aspirant knows. So much so that CAT as a word has been launched so up high in the air that it is extremely aspirational. My question to you is that apart from CAT, whatever other MBA entrance exams you have, do you think that CAT is the most difficult exam of them all? The answer is no. You have exams which are far more tougher than CAT is. For example, XAT, it's a much more complex exam. For example, IFT and NMAT, they require you to be much faster than you need to be for CAT. However, still, CAT is an exam which is probably feared, which evokes a lot of anxiety among the students. The problem which I'm trying to address through this video of mine is to remind you that if you're somebody who's right now feeling anxiety, who's right now having sort of a mental breakdown that, hey, I'm not scoring well, what will happen on the D day of CAT, then let me remind you. Do not make CAT a big event on your day. The problem is that in the World Cup of all the MBA entrance exams, while we have some of the great exams, the great matches like you versus ZAT or you versus IIFT or you versus SNAP, the problem is that you versus CAT becomes the India versus Pakistan of that World Cup, and hence there is a lot of nerves around it. My idea of making this video is to say to you that there are three problems when you give a lot of attention to CAT. One, CAT is a test which is an aptitude test. It requires you to be mentally extremely agile and fresh. Which means what? That the more stressed you are on that day, the more stressed you are about the exam of CAT, higher the chances would be of you to not do well in it. CAT is an exam which requires you to be very calm, to be at your toes, to be fresh, so that you can know that, okay, how to maximize your score. Therefore, the more you look at the CAT day, the D day as an event day, a very big event of your life, the more problems you will be creating for yourself. I do understand it that yes, CAT is what you have prepared for day in and day out for almost the last 1 year, and hence naturally we attribute it to be the biggest day of that year. However, that is something which you need to fight in your head that okay, CAT is not the only exam. You have other exams, equally good exams. For example, ZAT opens up the gate to XLRI, to SP Jain, some of the best B schools. Now, IFT, even if you're somebody who aims for only the top old IIMs and all of that, IFT is a beautiful backup option for you. A lot of students, they say to me that, hey, CAT has to be the most important exam for us. We only aim for IIMs ABCL, so how come, we cannot only focus on CAT, this and that? I'm saying that's fine. Probably that is what you should aim for. However, how would it harm you if you score well in an XLRI or in a ZAT or in a IIFT? Even if you score well in that, when you're reappearing for your CAT the next year, suppose if you're CAT goes wrong this year and if you have to reappear for CAT next year, what is the harm if you have the confidence within you that yes, I had appeared for ZAT and for IIFT and I had scored really well in it. On this point, I will be sharing with you one story of mine which is very important, after which I will quickly go on to what are the two other problems which CAT can pose for you and why CAT can mess you up completely. When I was an MBA aspirant in 2014, in my very first attempt of the CAT, what happened is that after my engineering, I had dropped an year to become a CAT aspirant. So I used to go to a classroom every day and my entire focus was on CAT, 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 CAT. I was studying very well and that was all which I had to do for that entire year. I had even foregone my placement from my engineering for CAT. That was the importance which CAT was having in my head. Now, on the CAT day, obviously, it was my first attempt. And while I had attempted a lot of mock tests, CAT day is the CAT day. And if you don't know how to handle your mind, it can mess up with you. Now, in CAT, I had scored in my very first attempt, I had scored only a 84 percentile. And the results of CAT were out even when the ZAT exam had not happened. So, when I was going for my ZAT exam, I knew this already that hey, I've not scored well in CAT, it is only 84. Even for Snap, I knew that hey, my attempts, that even the questions, the count of the questions which I had attempted in Snap is not even sufficient for me to get a good score in it. Same is for IIFT. I already knew my IFT score and hence I knew that I'm way below what would be required for me to get into the interviews. That was my only hope. However, here is where this story gets interesting. I knew it that okay, this year probably I will not go to any B school and I will have to find a job all over again. I will have to study and reappear for all of these exams. The fact is, I had ZAT in my hand, but because my CAT scores and my IFT scores and my SNAP scores were so horrible, I was like that, okay, I'll just go for ZAT and I'll just attempt it. And ZAT, it'll not happen anything. And I was not expecting anything from ZAT. I remember that day, the first week of January in 2015, when I had went for that exam, and I knew that, okay, after the ZAT exam, I'll come home, I'll start to search for a job so that I can prepare again, this and that. Would you believe me if I said that I was so relaxed in my ZAT exam that I ended up doing really well in ZAT. I ended up scoring a 98.3 percentile in ZAT and I got calls from XLRI Jamshedpur, which back then was the only XLRI campus. So I had calls from XLRI, I had calls from XIMB. What I'm trying to say to you is that suddenly I had no calls from any good schools. I only had some very low tier options with me, which I could have gone for, but I knew that no, that is not what I want to aim for. Suddenly, while I knew that okay, I might have to attempt CAT all over again, suddenly I got calls, XLRI calls. Now, that is a separate story that even when I had those two calls, I was not able to clear my interviews. Why was it so? I will have it in a separate video for you. The point is that the less stressed you are, you can crack an exam as tough as ZAT. ZAT is a very complex, a complicated exam. But since you stop having a lot of expectations from it, you give yourself less stress, you can do anything from it. Therefore, my point number one was that even if CAT is the only exam you are aiming for, stop to think of it like a big day. Give it very casually in a very calm way. My point number two is very simple to you that the problem when you give too much attention to CAT is that you do not even appear for other exams. I know so many students, I know so many good students who throughout the year they were very sure that okay, we'll go to IMABC. They did not even consider XLRI, which is as good as a L or a K. I mean, it is much higher than a K, and they should have surely attempted a XLRI since they knew that probably it is the last attempt and after this they would not be interested to attempt, but they would not go for that. And the same thing, I'm sure that if you are watching this right now and if your only aim is ABCL, believe me, register for that. It is a good exam. It is a great B school XLRI. You should definitely aim for. The biggest problem with this is that I've seen students that CAT becomes such a larger than life exam that one, they spoil their CAT, which is what I spoke in the first point, but two, they also close out so many other great options. They close out MDI Gurgaon, they close out XLRI, they close out SP Gen, they close out so many other options. Yes, you can apply to an SP Gen from a CAT as well. I know that, but but what's the problem in keeping another option open when you can go to that same B school? And obviously, as I said, that even if you have to appear for CAT again, it is always good to have a good level of confidence when you feel that, hey, when I attempted all of these exams last year, I had scored so well in that, which is the same confidence which I had when I started to reappear for the exams next year. Had I not scored that 98.3 in that at the last moment, I would have always seen myself as somebody who does not know anything, and that would have created more problems for me when I would have re-attempted the CAT. And from there, the third and a very important point which you need to understand, that why can CAT mess up with you completely, is that while I said in the second point that yes, a lot of students, they do not even appear for any other exam because the CAT or the IMs are the largest things which they can see in front of their eyes. The third problem is that even if you appear, even if you say that, okay, no, I need to appear for all exams, I'll also appear for SNAP, I'll also appear for IFT, I'll also appear for ZAT, I'll also appear for NMAT, even if you appear for all other exams as well, because CAT is so larger than life, you never study well for all other exams. And I know that all of you know it is true. If it is true, share with me why you think it is true. Share it with me in the comments. What happens is this thing, that because you're preparing only for CAT, you forget that each exam requires a specific level of preparation and you need to prepare for specific question types for each of them. Also, the strategy of how you will attempt each of the other exams has to significantly change and it has to be cemented. But because your only focus is CAT, the only mocks which you always attempt are CAT mocks, you never give the attention which is due to all the other exams. And while you were a good, sensible student who knew that yes, all exams are important, you fail in all the other exams because you never really studied for them. Exactly why, when I was creating my 4 weeks to CAT videos, I was always saying to you, I had in fact created a schedule for you in which I had said that, hey, you need to appear for IFT mocks, you have to appear for SNAP and ZAT mocks as well. After the CAT, you are always in the anxiety that, hey, I should find that if I have been able to solve that correct, hey, how much score I have, how much I can expect in terms of the percentile and all of that. You are always stuck in that CAT loop even after CAT is over. Therefore, my objective behind creating this video, this three-part, three-point video for you, was that CAT can significantly mess up with you. It can entirely make you lose. Therefore, if you watch this up till here, I want you to do not give CAT the undue importance which you always give it. In fact, the secret to cracking CAT is that the less importance you would give it, the less you would start to think of it, the easier will CAT be for you to crack. And I can guarantee you, you will be able to not only crack the IMs but also some of the other good schools, which will only improve how you feel about yourself, which is again very important for the interviews. That was it from my end. I hope you truly agree with what I'm saying. I hope that this would have inspired you to again rethink that how you think about, how you feel about all the MBA entrance exams. I'll see you in another video. Thanks a lot and goodbye.